everyone, welcome to the Loving Path podcast. My name is Debbie and I'm coming to you from London, Ontario, Canada, where I live with my husband Fred and our son Isaac, who's 11 years old. This is a podcast about knitting and hand-dyeing yarn and living the simplest life that I can and really just being as true to myself as possible. So welcome. If you are new, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate all the new subscriptions, everyone who is checking me out. I know there's a lot of podcasts that you could be watching, so if you're here spending your time with me, thank you. And of course, if you're coming back, welcome back. So wonderful to have you here. Well, how was your week, your 2 weeks? We've been really, really busy. Like really, really busy. A couple weeks ago, we went and saw The Diary of Anne Frank, which was being put on by Original Kids Theatre Company. So if you are new, my son is really big into musical theatre, and he belongs to a youth theatre company called Original Kids Theatre Company here in London, and they put on, I don't know, like 23 plus shows a year, and each kid who's in the company does 2 shows a year. And so he just finished his first show of the season, which was Oklahoma. And then the second weekend, the show that they had put on was The Diary of Anne Frank. And that was the weekend of Remembrance Day. So we saw it on Remembrance Day, and it was incredibly powerful and moving and beautifully crafted. Obviously, we know the outcome of that story. But the girl who played Anne was so amazing. And she gave us such hope that the story was going to end differently. She just had such a joy of life, and I don't know, her energy was so inspiring and contagious, and so you kept thinking it'll be different, it's going to end differently, but of course it doesn't. And it was a new production, so I guess they've updated The Diary of Anne Frank a number of times, and so when they do that, they update the play production as well, the script. So the script had the epilogue from her father. And I don't know why, but I didn't even know her father survived. So that was new to me. Anyway, it was really well. He came out and he, obviously in character explained what had transpired with everybody else who was captured in the house. It was so good. Everyone left in tears. So that's how we spent our Remembrance Day. And then the next day I had a show. So I had my Merrymakers show at the Covent Garden Market here in London, which was hugely successful. It was so busy. If you were there, I know some of you were there, it was so busy. I mean, there were times where people could barely move. It was so packed, which isn't so good for a shopping experience if you're just looking to like browse, but it's great as a vendor. It was really busy. So I was thrilled. Got to see lots of people that I don't get to see very often. Sometimes just at shows, or sometimes just not as often as I'd like. So I had lots of hugs and stuff like that day. It was fabulous. And obviously met some people. Happened to say to one person, I think it was Amy. Hi Amy, if you're watching. And she said, we were just talking about knitting and yarn in the community and podcasting. And I was like, I just started a podcast. She's like, I watch you. And I was like, oh my God. That was so funny. I thought, okay, that was weird. But yeah, so she came by and was supportive, and it was just really fabulous. So fabulous. So yeah, I don't know. That was that. And then what else did we do? I took a class this past Friday night at the Little Red Mitten in St. Thomas, which is a local yarn store. And I learned to knit continental class because I don't knit continental, and I wanted to just learn. I don't think I'll knit that way permanently because I'm so fast knitting English. But there are reasons that it's beneficial, and color work is one of them, and I'm a huge color work fanatic, and so I really wanted to try and work that into my repertoire of skills, I guess you could say. So that was super fun, and my friend Christine and I took it, and we thought it would make us faster knitters, and then we sat there and laughed the whole time because we were so slow. But it was good. And then this past Sunday, we saw a production called Amahl and the Night Visitors. Isaac's voice teacher, Paul, was putting that on. He and a few other people. So It's a story about a boy who is visited by the three wise men at Christmas. And the composer was commissioned to do this opera. It's a Christmas opera. He was commissioned to do this opera by, I think it was NBC, back in the 50s. And he didn't have any inspiration, couldn't really think what to do. And then he remembered his childhood, and he tells a story about how they didn't have Santa in Italy when he was little. And he always just figured that was because Santa was too busy with Americans to worry about Italians. Poor guy. But they had the three wise men, or the three kings. And so he writes this opera about them coming to visit Christmas Eve. Or I assumed it was Christmas Eve, but Christmas time. It was beautifully done. So three wise men, and then the mother, and a page to the wise men, and then a young boy who was grade 7, who was playing the part of Amahl. And it was all so good. So we were really, really grateful that we got to go see that. And that kind of wrapped up our weekend. I think actually Isaac also had a birthday party on the weekend. So a good friend of his turned 11, so they had a pool party at the hotel close by that has a huge pool. They had lots of fun. And he said over and over and over again how much he loved being there and meeting a new friend. He made a new friend that is someone who's very similar to him, very emotional, very creative, and sometimes Isaac has a hard time connecting with others because he's such a deep thinker. And so when he can find other people who are like him, obviously we all know that when we find people who are like us, it's good, right? Like it's nice to have that connection on a deeper level. And though he's only 11, he's always been like that. And the boys his age are like, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you? And he's just like, why don't they get me? I don't know. But the grade 7 girls get him. He's grade 6, and the grade 7 girls are like, we understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, it's because they're always a few steps ahead, maturity wise, and he's quite advanced intellectually for his age, and emotionally. So he just gravitates towards adults or older kids. Anyway, so that was fun for him to make a friend who was his age, but also got him. So anyway, that's been our week, 2 weeks, since I saw you last. And so maybe we should talk about some knitting now. I remember 2 weeks ago, I said that I would have 3 finished objects for you today. And as that was coming out of my mouth at the time, I thought, it's awfully ambitious. Lofty goals. Yeah, it didn't happen. But I did get an almost finished object. Not even one whole finished object, which is disappointing. But sometimes that's just life, right? I haven't had a lot of time to knit. Like, I knit every day, always. But I haven't had as much time, I guess, as I'd like. So, that's just life. But I did finish this. This is Isaac's Christmas sock. This is a Hermione's Everyday sock by Free Pattern on Ravelry by Erica Luter. And it is the Cozy Knitter in her Gingerbread House colorway on her Bliss base. It's so fantastic. I cast on 56 stitches and 2.25 needles, and yeah, they knit up really fast because I just wanted to get to the next color, so I just kept going and going and going. So I'm almost done the second one. Like, I'm at the toe. I say they're done because I'll be done like in 10 minutes after I finish recording this. I just was trying to get them done for the podcast, and then I thought, you know what? People understand that life is life and not everything happens the way we want it to. So for all intents and purposes, it's a finished object, right? It's going to be finished in 2 minutes. So he'll be excited about those. And so he's seen me knitting them. But I will, once they're done tonight, I will block them and hang them on the back of my door. And once they're dry, fold them, put them away. And he won't see them again until Christmas. So he'll just forget. It's very exciting. And I'm keeping those in this, look at all the strings, because I didn't put them back in the bag. I'm keeping this in this awesome bag, which I call my teddy bear picnic bag. Oh, I love it so much. I love it. So this is from my Needle Crafts. My friend Cheryl gifted this to me just because she's so lovely. Thank you, Cheryl. I love it. I really, really love it. Like, I think it's probably... I don't know. It's just... I love a teddy bear picnic. I love teddy bear picnics. I love the song. I love the whole idea of a teddy bear picnic. I love teddy bears. Like proper teddy bears, not just... Oh, I love stuffies too. And dolls. But I love teddy bear picnic. The whole idea just makes me so happy. It's perfect. So that's that. That's kind of my only finished object from last episode. So that leads me to this. I think I mentioned that I'm a monogamous knitter, and I think this is why. Because I don't get anything done when I knit multiple things at once. It just feels like nothing's getting done. So what I was doing was I was knitting the socks during the day or whenever Isaac was around. And then at night when he'd go to sleep, I'd pull out his sweater, his solstice sweater, and I would knit that. When I realized I really wanted to have a finished object, and the sweater didn't really need to be done for a few more weeks, then I should have probably just knit more on the socks, and they would have been done. But like, it doesn't take me 2 weeks to knit a pair of socks, but it was because I was dividing my time, which I don't like to do. So that's not going to happen probably anymore. Because then I feel like I'm really just showing up here every week with like the same couple of things with just little bits more done on them. And I like to get things done. And the other thing too is that when I'm knitting, like I choose projects that I really want to knit. So I know some people will say, oh, well, I always have a sock and I always have a shawl and I always have, you know, like something, maybe a sweater, depending on what I want to work on. But I always want to work on what I'm knitting. So having multiple things doesn't really work. Like a sock might just be, well, if you're just traveling in the car or something and you need something really small, but I still just take my sweater. Or whatever it is I'm working on. So that's kind of my problem, is that I like to knit what I'm working on all the time. And so having multiple things doesn't really appeal to me. I think I'll still keep a sock maybe on the needles, just, I don't know, in case you're at a section of a garment where it's a little tricky and you are going somewhere and you gotta read a chart. But even then, I still bring the sweater. I'm gonna see how that goes. But I'm certainly not going to have 3 and 4 things on the needles. I just can't handle that. It's beyond me. People who do that, I just bow down to you, because I can't. So my flax, really, I haven't worked any more on it. Maybe like 5 rounds on the sleeve. Like, that would be it. I don't even know. The stitch marker for some reason is inside. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened. So I don't know if I've knit. I think that was actually, I don't know. So it's about there. So if I've knit that much since last time, or if I haven't knit any, I don't know. Anyway, it's lumpy and bumpy and will be better when it's blocked, but that's my work in progress. And then Isaac's sweater, which I'm not going to show you, but I did make some good progress on that. I'm not showing it because he likes to watch the podcast, and I don't want him to see it all done up, even though he's kind of caught a few glimpses of it. When he's at voice lesson, I'll usually work on it in the other room, and then he runs out without me hearing him. He's like, oh, that looks nice. I'm like, what are you doing? You know I'm working on this. But this is the yarn I'm using. So, again, I ask him every year what he'd like for solstice, and it's almost always a garment. And this year, well, that's usually what I choose to make him, as a garment. And then I asked him what he wanted this year, and he said, I want this colorway and cashmere. So this is a merino cashmere blend and a bit of nylon. It's amazing in the skein. I love it. And in a sweater, it's like you need sunglasses. It's bright and flashy, which is what he said he wanted. He's like, I want to look flashy. So he will in this. And well, I guess we got like a few more weeks and I'll be able to show it to you when it's finished. Once I've gifted it to him. So that is exciting and coming along. It's really pretty knit up. Like it's just bright. It's just so bright. I have a small fear that he will get it and be like, whoa, because I worry that kids will be like, dude, that sweater is crazy bright. And that maybe he's just getting to that age now where he's like caring what people think a little bit more than I would like him to. And that he'll take that feedback as a criticism and then not want to wear it. But I'm hoping that that's not the case. I hope that he's strong enough sense of self to be like, I don't care. And I point out everywhere where people have a really strong sense of self. One of the boys in his last show, he's got a coat. It's really red, but it almost looks hot pink. Like it's a reddy hot pink. And I said, like, he has it. Like, look at this. And he's just like, he doesn't care. And so he ended up going up to him and asking him, you like pink? And he's like, yeah, I really do. And I'm like, and he's not letting anybody tell him that it's not okay. Isaac wore fluorescent pink Crocs for years. Favorite color. Pink t-shirts. If you gave him a choice. This yarn, which I'll talk about this in a second, I offered to make him a sweater when he was a little bit little. It was a vest. And he picked the rhubarb colorway. It's beautiful pink. He wore that thing everywhere. But you know, they get to be this age where they're like, oh. And they care a bit too much what people think. Hopefully that won't last, because I like that he knows who he is and that he's not afraid of that. So I hope he doesn't mind. I hope that he'll wear this for ages to come. It's so soft. I think even just the softness alone might draw him in. And there are some pinks in there. Pinks and reds and yellows, orange and silver, green. It's great. It's great. It's just super duper bright. Oh well. Okay. So for the last bunch of episodes, I have talked about future objects, but never really got anywhere with that because I've been working on stuff, and so I try not to think too far in advance. I mean, I want to knit all of the things. There are so many things on my list right now, but I have to just do them one at a time. And because I'm trying to work through my stash and not buy new yarn, I'm trying to find projects that will allow me to do that. So, once my Christmas knitting's done, the next thing I'm going to be knitting is the very beautiful Miss Rachel's Yoke pullover, which is by Kate Davies. Kate Davies. I love her. I've loved her. I was going to say my entire life. I've loved her since she began. I mean, I have, before I was blogging, because I started blogging in 2009. I think her earliest blog post goes back to 2007 that I can find, and I was following her from the beginning. So back before she was Kate Davies Designs, she was just, her blog was needled, and I followed that and just fell in love with everything about her. Because it wasn't just, I don't know, it wasn't just a blog. Like, she's an academic and a researcher and a bit of a historian, and so her blog posts are essays. Like, they're so informative, there's so much information, and I loved that because it speaks to the historian in me. And then her love of the landscape that she lives around, so Scottish Highlands, which I also love and was there earlier this year, January. And where she gets her inspiration from, so from the landscape, from the history of knitwear and textiles and all that kind of stuff. How she works those into her designs just blows my mind. There's not a pattern she's designed that I wouldn't knit up in 2 seconds. Like, I just adore her. So I'm excited to be, and I've made lots of her patterns. This is hers. I was going to include this in finished objects, but it felt like it sat better here. So I'm trying to stand up. This is the Manu. Just pull it up a little bit so you can see the bottom. It's just a seed stitch at the bottom. Oh my goodness, this sweater, I love, love, love everything about it. I've lost a button at the top. It's on my dresser. I have to put it back on. But I don't actually mind it. It's okay like that. The pleats, it does come with pockets. The design has pockets, but I didn't put the pockets on. I would never use them, so I just didn't bother. I love the gathered, like I love how this is a bulkier sleeve and then it gathers at the wrists. I love that look. Everything's done with an I-cord bind off. All her designs, okay, I can show you that. All her designs are done with an I-cord bind off. This is all I-cord bind off. All this is, it's all the whole thing. The pleats, everything just looks so finished and so complete and professional. Doesn't look like a raw, unsalvaged end. It's so great. So I'm going to make, so I've made this from her. I've made, and this is, and it's called the Manu, and I made it out of Knit Picks City Tweed DK in the Habanero colorway years ago. And then I made this, which is her Porto Leaf pullover. Oh my god. That cable work was just so much fun, and I love this sweater. It's super heavy. It's a bulky weight. And again, it's Knit Picks, because that's really what I was buying a lot of at the time. Knit Picks in their honey. I think it's honey. Maybe it's not honey. It's their yellow. It's Wool of the Andes. And they're yellow. Just the detail like her. So it's twisted rib. That just pops. It's amazing. I love yellow. And I love orange. And this isn't necessarily my best color, but I don't care. I don't care. So, and then what else have I made from her? I made her Snawheid hat, which I can put a picture of because my son wore it to theater this morning. And it's actually seen better days. He's worn it so much. It's very felted down. It's very... It needs a really good gleaning. It's a mess. So Miss Rachel's Yoke, I have a bunch of yarn for that. Again, knitting for my stash, Knit Picks, because it was a sale. Seriously, probably 6 or 7 years ago I got this. So this is going to be my main colorway, which is called Oregon Coast Heather. It's really pretty sand, like a sand brown with those little flecks of orange and blue, like undertones. Oh, it's really pretty. So the sweater is a pullover, and then so the main color, and then your yoke has different bands of color with detailing within that band. So my first band of color is going to be this one, which I can't find the label for, but it's like a tealy, it's a heathered color. I just forget what it's called. I'll put it down below. And then the contrast color will be this Rosehip. This is all in a Picks palette. And the second band of color will be this Rooibos Heather, and you will mix that one with the main color of the sweater. And then the third band will be the green with the gray. I might mix them up. I'm not really sure. What happens then is as you go further up, you just alternate them. So then instead of this being the band with this being the contrast, you've got this being the band and this being the contrast. You work your way up a little bit, and you have this pretty yoke. Now, I'm not so sure that I would go out and buy these colors as my main palette. Haha, palette. Sorry. If I was to do it from scratch, but because I'm doing it from my stash, I think it's going to be just fine. Aren't those so pretty? And I think actually maybe even better, because sometimes you overthink color palettes when you're at the yarn shop and you have the whole wall to choose from. You're like, oh, I mean, you could be there all day trying to decide. This is just making my decisions for me. I think it's going to look really, really nice. Can I do this? With that. So we shall see. So I'm starting that January 1st or December something. As soon as I have Isaac's solstice sweater done, which I guess will be the solstice, and the flax done, which won't be too long after or before, I don't know. And then what else am I doing? Christmas socks for me. I'll talk about those in a sec. But yeah, the sweater for Kate Davies, the pattern calls for her Buccal yarn, which is a sport weight, but I'm using palette, which is fingering, and it's only a stitch off of gauge, but per 4 inches, so it'll be a little bit off, but I don't mind a little bit lighter. In fact, I probably prefer that because I like them to be able to move. The one thing about the Porto Leith is that it's quite bulky, and I get really hot. Like I'm cold usually anyway, but it's quite bulky. So I don't know if I should have knit a size up, even though it fits perfectly. I just kind of sometimes feel a little stiff in it, so I like a little bit more movement. Like, that's why I love this, because it's loose and it just flows. Whereas this is a bit more sturdy, but I still love it. So that's my future project. That's exciting to finally share that with you. So all along I kept saying I was going to ask you for your advice, but then I ended up just making up my mind on my own and didn't need any help. There were a couple other colors I could have chosen, but they were also too close in hue to each other. That's the one worry I have about these, is that they may not show up. Like these pop, like that's going to show up. You're not going to lose this in this color. But here, I feel like you could lose color work of this against this. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to swatch it and see. If it is too similar, then I'm going to just either dye something a bit lighter, or my friend Lucy, hi Lucy, is coming home soon, and she said she would bring me a lighter gray. So either way, I will do that. But I'm super excited about that. And while we're on the topic of Kate Davies, as we move into acquisitions, oh, I love Kate Davies. Okay, so I seriously, like, I don't fangirl over very many people, but I think I would, well, I do fangirl over her. I love her. She's just so amazing. So, she released a club this past Friday to introduce and launch her new yarn, which is a tweed-based yarn, and it's running, I think, from January to March. I'm not sure. I think it's till the end of March. And there's a release, I think, every week of a new pattern. And so what she's basically doing is walking you through West Highland Way. I think it's a walking route, but so you're walking through that with her from week to week, and she's releasing a pattern every week, inspired by the landscape along the route. And along with that club come essays, the patterns, obviously, essays, some video information, like all these different kinds of stuff that will be unique to the club. But so you could just get that as a package, and at the end of the club you would get an actual book of all the patterns, like in print form. But she also had an option for yarn. Now, you know that I'm on a yarn hiatus. But do you understand my love affair with Kate Davies? Like, so I was texting my friend Lucy back and forth, and she's trying to talk me down the ledge. At the same time, she's completely enabling me because she's an evil little elf. But so my husband offered to get it for me for my birthday. So that's what we're doing. So I ordered it with the yarn. So you get a 12 ball sampler of her new yarn in each of the colorways, like one of each color. I can't even wait. It's tweed, which I don't know if you know, but I really like tweed. And it's Kate Davies. And it's, to be one of the first to knit with that yarn just makes me so, so happy. So I'll get the yarn, get a little tote bag. I don't know what that's going to say, but that excites me just as much as the rest of it. A pattern every month. If you look on her Instagram, she's shown the initial pattern release, which is this beautiful hat. So, I mean, obviously you're not going to have enough with 12 25-gram balls to knit a garment, but I can knit the hat, and I can knit, and I'll just wait and just see what comes up. Oh my goodness, I can't even wait. So that's an acquisition in the form of a gift, but really because I just needed to have it. And if he would have said, no way, I would have maybe just done it myself anyway. So part of me feels like I kind of caved on my yarn hiatus, but at the same time, I feel like it's just like one of those once in a lifetime kind of things. It's not like I just went out and bought a sweater's quantity of hedgehog, which you could do that anytime. Or even just like a indie dyed something or other. I was really careful and thought about it for the whole week, and then set my alarm for 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because she was releasing it at 10 a.m. their time. I was like, I must get this. So I did. I was very excited. And I'm not going to apologize for breaking my yarn thing, because she's worth it. And her yarn's worth it. All her patterns are worth it. I'll be very happy in the end. So another thing that I got was when we were at the Little Red Mitten Friday night doing our continental knitting class, we were leaving, and on the way out, my friend Christine noticed these little brown paper bags with like red and white yarn in them. And this, the 12 Balls of Christmas. So I didn't buy the yarn. just for the record, I didn't buy any yarn. I have lots of yarn, lots of red and white yarn. And navy, if I want to do the navy, is pretty, or royal blue, pretty. But I did buy this because it was a pattern. And it's $5. And you get all these different charts. And I know these are lots of places. I think you can find these in plenty of places. I think Arnie and Carlos have a book. I've seen other things online. I don't know if these are standard charts or what, but I have them all in one place now, which made me happy. And so this was put together by Joan, who owns Little Red Mitten, and she also taught our class. She's a fabulous teacher. If you have a chance to take classes with her, do so. It's really good. So this just has instructions, the finishing, a chart legend, and then all the charts. And I just was happy to have it all in one place, because I will make these and have a Christmas tree full of knitted balls. That makes me happy. And also just for gifts. I mean, how lovely is that, just to, even if you made a couple of the small ones and just attach them to a Christmas gift or something. But again, part of the problem with this is that I like to knit when I'm working on. So I feel like I would never get a chance to knit these because I'm always going to be knitting my sweaters. We'll see. Let's just make an effort. I think you can knit one of these in a night, or like an evening or two, or an evening and an afternoon. It doesn't take long, so it just means to sit down and dedicate that time to it, which I will do. Okay, lastly, this is another acquisition of yarn, but you don't get to see the yarn. I don't even get to see the yarn, and I ordered it in June, so it's not breaking anything. Yesterday in my mail, we came home from, Isaac has piano lessons Tuesday afternoon, followed by swimming lessons right afterwards. So we go to piano for 2:30, lessons a half hour, we drive to swimming, swimming's at 3:30 till 4, we come home. And then we got home and he's like, Mommy, you have another package. It sounds like I get mail all the time, but I've been getting a few things. Like I got a huge yarn order for business, not to knit with. And there were some other things that were at the door. I got this. You've got bee mail. So, you know, advent calendars, the yarn calendars that are all the rage. So back in June, I was kind of humming and hawing about getting one. I'm like, oh, it's like 6 months away. Like, who needs more than that? I was like, I don't need, that's crazy. But it was Harry Potter inspired, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I just really wanted to get in on an advent calendar. I thought that would be so much fun. I spent a lot of time doing advent calendars for my son, which I will show you in a minute, and I really wanted one for myself, and I wanted it to be yarn. That's just the coolest thing ever. So I got in on this, and this is from Bumblebee Acres, and it's I got the last one. When I posted on Instagram that I got it, she's like, I think you got the very last one. I was so excited. So I haven't opened it. It's still sealed. Just came. Look at the little stamps on it. Super cute. And I'm afraid to open it because I thought, oh, what if they're not all individually wrapped? And what if it's just all like a bunch of skeins of yarn just sitting there, and then I'll see them and it won't be very exciting at all. I'm sure it's all individually wrapped and well done, but sounds like tissue papery. Things are bouncing about in there. So I have to decide how I want to open that so I can share it with you. Do I do a little like vlog every day of me opening it so you get to see it? Do I do it Instagram stories? Do I do it Instagram live? Do I just record a week's worth and then show them? I don't know. Tell me what you think I should do, because I really want to share that with you because they're so much fun. Oh my god, so much fun. I can't wait. Okay. Yeah. And I also got something else. I just said okay really fast because I realized there was something else sitting here. I ordered some pins because they were cute. I have a little black cat. See that little black cat behind me right there? That was a gift from my brother-in-law a few years ago for Christmas. A painting from a friend of his. It's supposed to be Simon, our black cat. I'll put a little picture of him up here. So when I saw this pin, I was like, I need to have that pin because it's just like my baby. And his eyes glow in the dark, which is super cute. Oh, he's cute. So I ordered that. This is from Plesiosaur. And they are on Instagram, or plesiosaur.com. And then I ordered this one because I love nature and plants and gardening. But sometimes the things that you need to have are ridiculous, but you just need to have them anyway. And then it was Halloween. And this was a special one, I think, that was just their October 2017 Halloween pin. Super cute. Candy corn squid. So I got those, and they were really reasonably priced, and I was really happy with them. Or maybe, I'm kind of confused. Maybe these are done by other people. Like, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is Allison Ivy. So it's plesiosaur.com plus Allison Ivy. So maybe it's a collaboration. This one looks like it's just her. And this one looks like it's the Pink Samurai and Plesiosaur. So maybe they're collaborations. I'm sorry if I have that wrong. I'm just trying to understand that in the back because there's two websites on the back of these two. And that one's just plain. Anyway, they're all gorgeous. But I think she expedites them or tracks them, has tracking. And so Canada Customs charged me like $15 duty on them to import them. They only cost me $30 US. So it was like, or maybe not even, yeah, $30 Canadian, something like that. So it ended up being, I had to pay $15 tax on top of the pins, which made me really unhappy. Not her fault at all. I mean, that's just how she sends them. It's just our customs, like our duty stuff to import. But I've never had to do that before, except for some dyes I ordered once, and that was a surprise too. But that was like a $250 order or something. Like there was other stuff with it, and I had to pay $32 or $37. This was a $32 order. I had to pay $15. It made no sense. They just kind of, so I probably won't order from her again, even though I love her stuff. But if you're in the United States, definitely check her out. Beautiful, cute little pins. And that's my acquisitions. That was enough. I think I got more stuff too. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, like all those boxes I bought. I'm not going to show you those. If I show you everything that I bought this week, you'll be like, whoa, ridiculous. Just the Christmas stuff. But let's move on to other things. Advent. Speaking of Advent. I'm already at 40 minutes. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, I have to hurry. Advent. Every year for Advent, since Isaac was just really small, we've never really done a big to-do about Christmas. I really want it to be more about the season than about that one day where you get a million presents. So I've really worked hard to make the entire month of December magical for him and not just like load him up on December 25th. So since he was very small, I have made him little Advent envelopes. So what I do is I have this little template that I've made. Sorry, I can't get it out. This little template that I've made. And then I use the backs of old Christmas cards and things. Just cut them out and I make them into envelopes. So they just kind of, that one's weird, it's double-sided. I don't have one folded. I'll just fold this one real quick. They just fold down. Okay, that's a really bad fold job, but you'll get the idea. They just kind of fold down. So then they're sealed at the back and it's got a little envelope. And I just stick a little number on the front, like whatever day it is, the first, the second. And inside I leave a little note that explains something fun that we will do that day. So we've done everything from obviously making cookies and decorating the house to shopping for Daddy to buying a gift for a child in need, which he loves doing. We do that every year. He goes to Marymount here in London, Ontario, and he donates it himself. They send him a letter afterwards thanking him. He holds those so dear to his heart. We don't put stipulations on the price or the toy or the gender or what has. He can pick whatever he wants. That's always fun. Food bank, we shop for the food bank. We go for breakfast usually. We entertain one night. We wrap presents. Like, we just have all these little fun things that we do. Sometimes we go to a movie. One of his favorite things to do is have a candlelit bath. So I make my own beeswax candles, and I fill the bathroom with beeswax candles and turn off all the lights, and he gets to have this bath with just the beeswax candles, and he just soaks in there and puts some music on sometimes or whatever, and he just has a relaxing soak. And usually baths aren't relaxing for him. They wind him up, so this is kind of fun, and he enjoys that. So that's our Advents. We're going to be starting that December 1st. I'm sharing that with you now because you won't be here for the start of it. So I might try and record that as well. So much fun. There's so many ways to make magic for kids, I think, and it doesn't always need to come in a brightly wrapped box. I think people forget that sometimes. I think our culture wants us to forget that sometimes. They want us to think we need to buy to make our kids happy, but I know that he's happy with the tradition of the little things. Like, I had to make a list the other day. Give me 10 things that you want to do for Advent, and I will come up with the rest. And the first thing was candlelit bath. He's done that since he was probably 2. And it's the thing he remembers every year. And he loves, loves, loves food. And shopping for a child in need and the food bank. These are things that really don't give him anything back in terms of, like, stuff. But they give him back so much more in terms of, like, I'm doing something good in the world. And that's, I think, what he holds on to. And it sounds a little deep for maybe a kid, but he's like that. And I think all kids are like that. I think when they realize they're being useful and leaving their mark in the world in a different way, that is empowering for them. And so we love to do this. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll keep you updated. I'm excited to get that started, but I gotta get that started because it means making 24 little envelopes. And I don't think I even have enough Christmas cards. Sometimes I use scrapbook paper or whatever. Sometimes I have old cards that, it doesn't have to be Christmas, but if they don't look, they look even just, I had one here. It wasn't Christmas. But like, we've got this little dog. So I would kind of focus it around his face, so his face would be the center. It's that one. This one of Parliament, or Parliament buildings. I guess that's all I have right now. There's that one. Tara, that's from you. From Tara from On a Branch soap. That's from her. Still have it. So I might use that for one of them. It's a good memory, Tara. I love that I found that in there. I thought that was from you. Anyway. Okay. I guess I should really move on. To shop update. Okay. Shop update will be December 13th, 2017. I have another big show coming up this Saturday at the London Waldorf School. They're handmade for the holiday festival. And then after that, there's one in December on the 17th. So in between that, I really wanted to do an update. So I'll have one on the 13th at 10 a.m. So mark your calendars if that interests you. I don't have anything to show of what's going to be in that yet because I'm doing pre-orders right now for a Christmas colorway, which I'll talk about. But yeah, just mark that down if you're interested because that's when it will be. And next time I will have stuff to show you of what will be in that. If there are things you want to see in that you know I've dyed before or that you've seen and you want, I don't know, like a quantity of, or you just want a one-off and it's not there right now, just message me on Instagram or Etsy or somewhere and let me know. Happy to put that into the mix. Speaking of the shop, it will be closed on Saturday, November 25th until Sunday the 26th in the evening because I'll be at that show. So if you're local, it's the London Waldorf School from 10 till 3 and it's their handmade for the holidays. It's all local artisans selling handmade goods. It's a good show. I love it. But I have to close for that, and then I won't reopen till the following night once I have all my inventory sorted out. And then currently in the shop are pre-orders for my Christmas colorway called Candy Cane Mishap. If you're on Instagram, you will have seen this. I'm doing pre-orders because I don't want to dye up a dozen of them or something and have them sit, because no one's going to want Christmas yarn after Christmas, likely. So I'm doing pre-orders, and that way just have to dye what people want. I think I'll dye a few extras to have at the shows, but other than that, it's all pre-ordered. So a bunch have gone. There's still a few left in there. If you're interested, they will stay up until November 27th at 10 p.m. And then I'm going to take them down because I'll need time to dye it and make sure it's dried in order to mail it out. I want to have them all mailed for December 1st because that's the international shipping date to make sure that you get stuff in time for Christmas. If you're in Canada and you've missed the pre-order and you want one, you can let me know, because I can, if you're local, I can just dye it up for you like the week before Christmas. That's not a big deal. If you're in Canada, I think the shipping date is the 12th of December, 11th or 12th. But for the rest of the world, it's December 1st. So there's some leeway there. If you're in Canada, I can extend it, but you'll need to message me because the pre-orders will come down on the 1st. Okay, and one last thing, I wanted to touch base on the giveaway that we're doing here, and that is for this lovely skein of yarn. This is called Tea Season, and it is a purpley brown, creams, black speckles, brown speckles, bit of orange. And this giveaway was to celebrate the end of my son's theater run. So he just finished his run of Oklahoma, where they had 3 rehearsals a week since September. And then they had 2 shows on the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday. And we were there for that whole week. And it was just a lot. And it keeps us busy as a family because my husband and I are both very involved in his theater. I volunteer for costumes, props, backstage. My husband photographs both tech and dress rehearsal. So there's a really long, it's a long few months for us. And, you know, now we have 3 nights a week back to ourselves. Though I'm not sure for how long, because casting packages come out in a couple weeks. And I have a feeling he's going to be in a show that's going to start right away. So, and that'll be 3 weeks again. 3 times a week again. We'll see. I'll let you know as soon as I know what show we got. But we're going to have a giveaway for this, just because I wanted to celebrate. And so you can go over to the Ravelry group, which is The Loving Path. If you search into groups, you will find us. I think we have like 31 members there last time I checked, which is so exciting. Thank you to everyone who has entered and who has joined the group. Oh my goodness. I loved reading all about your musical theater experiences. Oh, like so many of them I have seen and was like, yes, I love that one. Jenny, you had mentioned Wicked in the West End. We saw that when we were there last year. Loved it so much. Actually, it was earlier this year. It was January. Loved Wicked so much. We saw Les Mis there. We saw Matilda. Of course, we saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which isn't a musical, but it was still incredible. What else did people mention? Oklahoma was mentioned. Chicago, I think someone mentioned Chicago. I'm trying to think. Meant to make a list. Anyway, amazing. Phantom of the Opera was mentioned. I've seen that twice. I saw it in Toronto in '94, I think. And then we took my son a few years ago for Christmas and saw it again in Toronto when it came back. I love musical theater. And we're going to see Come From Away in April. And I can't even wait to see that. So if you haven't entered the giveaway, my son just came out. He's like, oh, you're still doing that? If you haven't entered the giveaway, please go do that. The Loving Path under groups in Ravelry. All you have to do, the prompt is to tell me what your favorite musical preferably one that you've seen live, but it doesn't matter. So your favorite musical that you've seen, preferably live, but even if you've just seen a musical on TV or the movies or whatever, it's all good. I just want to know I just want to know because I love it and really want to share that with you. So hopefully you get over there and enter and you'll get a chance to win this. I hope you do. That will be so much fun. This closes December 1st at 10 p.m. So if you haven't entered by then you're out of luck. So that is next week. Yeah, I think it's Friday. I don't know. I'm a homeschooling mom. I do not keep track of the dates. I never know what day it is. I'm always like, what? Where are we? I think it's Friday, December 1st. But it's definitely December 1st at 10 p.m. I will be taking the thread down. So if you haven't entered, go do that now for your chance to win this lovely skein of tea season. Just tell me about your favorite musical that you've seen, preferably live, but just in general. And I will draw a winner. I think we have I don't know. There's over 20 entries in there so far. So that's a good chance to win. So I think that sums up pretty much everything that I wanted to say. This weekend, again, I've got the Waldorf School Handmade for the Holidays show. If you're local, come check that out and say hello. It's going to be awesome. They have such great vendors. And everything. There's so much stuff there. Just beautiful little handmade things. So come check that out. And hi, Isaac. He's standing right here. Getting the veggie bin for himself to eat. In 2 days, we are doing our annual pilgrimage to the woods. It's Christmas lunch in the woods with our friends. We go every year. I think this is our 8th year? I think, because I think it's our 8th year that we've gone. Our 7th year with our friends. So we go to Sloan's Christmas Tree Village in Bothwell. And it is like a little paradise. It's a pine forest in the middle of a Christmas tree farm. And the Christmas tree farm is acres and acres and acres and acres. And there's this pine tree forest. They've got campfires all set up. They have a hay bale maze, a zip line, broom ball, some slingshot thing. They've got a huge play area the kids can run and jump and climb things and slides, and they've got animals that seem to remember us from year to year. They're goats. They've got goats, and one year Isaac tossed his hat in and we had to get it with a stick, and the following year I think he tossed his hat in and the goat tossed it back. He remembered who he was. It was funny. They're very sweet. And we just bring food. I make a big pot of chili. I'll make that tomorrow, and then I heat it up Friday morning. We drive the hour to get there, put on the open fire till it boils. We have hot dogs, marshmallows, apple cider. I bring tea. We bring veggies. We bring clementines and fruit, and I don't know what else. Everything. You'll see pictures. I'll have so many pictures. It's so much fun. And so that's on Friday. And we look forward to that so much. Actually, she just texted me while I was talking to you saying, I can hardly even wait. I'm so excited. So that's our big thing. And that kind of starts our holiday season. Usually we bring a tree back, but Isaac's bringing a friend this year. There'll be no room in our little car for a tree. So we'll get a tree in town, I think. But it's just an amazing day outside the whole day by a fire, running around. It's supposed to be 9 degrees Celsius this Friday, so it's going to be really warm. And some years it's so cold that you're just, your toes are frozen and windy. And this year's going to be windy, but 9 degrees is warm. It will be really nice. Anyway, I can't wait to share pictures because it's our favorite day. One year we made beeswax candles in the woods. Remember that, Nadine? That was funny. We made beeswax candles, and we roasted chestnuts, and I just used regular tin foil, and it burnt right through, the fire burnt it, so we ended up with no chestnuts. They were gone. That was sad. Okay, I think I should wrap this up. I'm reminiscing in my head, and you have no idea why I'm quiet. It's because I'm thinking about all the fun that we've had there. I can't wait to share that with you. In the meantime, if you are looking to find me elsewhere on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Etsy as The Loving Path, and on Instagram as The Loving Path Yarn. Thank you for being here and joining me today. I love spending this time with you. It just makes me so happy to know that I can build my little community of yarn lovers and knitters, and that we can all kind of connect over this podcast and just share what we're doing. So please feel free to leave me comments. I really love it. Please subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you'd like. It helps other knitters find it, and if they're interested. And comment below and say hello. Introduce yourself to me. I promise you that I will respond. And in the meantime, I guess that's all. I'm going to say goodbye. And I will be back here in a couple of weeks with information about a shop update and hopefully some new yarn to show you and pictures from our trip to the woods. And I think that's all. I don't know. All right. I'll talk to you all later. See you in a couple weeks. Bye.
All right.